Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to start out with my bag of words and see what I'm inspired to share. Okay, let's see. Procrastination. Procrastination. Interesting. Procrastination. It is something that a lot of us do. And we do this because we are afraid. In some way, we are afraid, right? We're afraid of failure, of not succeeding in the way that we want to. We're afraid of things not working out. We're afraid of so many things, and sometimes we're not even aware that we're walking around with these fears. They're like subconsciously stuck in there. And sometimes we are aware. Neither one is right or wrong. If we're aware, great. That gives us information that we can work with. And if we're not aware, we can become aware. But procrastination, is very hurtful to us because it doesn't allow us to move forward, at least in the way that we want to. Now, don't get me wrong. The good thing that I would say the good aspect to procrastination is that when we do recognize it, it gives us so much insight and information about ourselves. I know that when I've procrastinated, I've sat with that, I've been able to see fears and things that I've been afraid of. And they have helped me grow because I've been able to make deep connections, a bigger understanding. And by having that experience, then I've been able to shift from the procrastination. So, as uncomfortable as it is sometimes, or as frustrating as it can be, it also can be helpful. But the procrastination is telling us something. And like I said, while it can be helpful, we definitely don't want to stay there, right? Indefinitely. So we want to do something to shift from there. And the best thing to do sometimes, and to really keep it very simple, is to sit down with a pen and paper. And I know a lot of times people say, well, I don't like to write. Well, then speak into your phone, your memo voice, and just start like pouring out, what you're thinking and what's you're feeling, so that you can gain some clarity and some awareness and be able to make some connections and start to shift the tide. And when you start to just put it, on paper or just express it outward, you are doing something about it. And it may seem small, but it's not, because every time you do that, you give yourself the opportunity to learn something about yourself. And once you know, then you can target it. If you don't know, then you can't target it because you don't know, right? So let's see what else I'm inspired to share. Let's see what other word I get. Oh, I got two more. Not exactly what I was thinking, but okay. Panic and distrust. Okay, so interesting. Panic and distrust. Distrust is something that we sometimes feel. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves. And when we don't trust ourselves, yeah, we may go into a panic like state. And sometimes we are afraid of feeling panic because we feel that if we get into a panic like state, we're going to lose control. But the reality is that the fear is bigger in our head sometimes than it really is in reality. Generally speaking, we can panic and still get ourselves back together. In other words, hold ourselves back together, put ourselves back together, and not necessarily fall apart. In other words, the panic isn't necessarily, going to take us over the edge, generally speaking. So we get so afraid sometimes, right, of the panic like feeling because we're distrusting ourselves. And we then decide, okay, we're not going to do anything. But if we decide we're not going to do anything, then we stay stuck. So that doesn't really help us. So really what we want to build is trust. We want to be able to start noticing, right, that we can trust having emotions and that it's safe to have them. Because once we know that, then we're more likely to challenge ourselves, because sitting with our emotions is uncomfortable, but we can challenge ourselves. I know plenty of times I try to run from them, but then I realize, no, I can do this. It's okay. It's safe to. And I sit with them, right? So we don't have to go into a panic. And if we do panic, we can also know, right, that it comes full circle. We can bring ourselves back around. And like I said, generally speaking, right? So I hope that helps you in some way. Oh, and last but not least, before I go I was about to close, but before I do that, Just made me think something that really does help me when, I'm in a panic like state is to just breathe. Sometimes I just keep it really simple. If I'm really feeling extremely emotionally, worked up, or I'm in a panic like state, I just breathe. I don't try to figure anything out. I just breathe. I focus on my breath. And when I do that, then the noise in my head starts to slow down, right? And now I can bring in, tools or, anything that, brings me comfort. And one thing that I always like to resort to is, the divine. In other words, I like to remind myself that there's a divine energy that exists so that when I go there, I feel less panicked. I also feel more supported, and I start to build my trust, right? Because then I know, like, okay, I'm okay. I have support. I can do this. And it doesn't mean I'm okay. I feel good. It means I can trust these emotions. Like, I'm okay. It's okay to have them. It's part of being human. And I'm okay. Just, it's like overall, like, it's okay. I normalize having feelings. It's what I'm saying. And it helps me feel, more grounded and more ready to just allow that moment to exist and leave it at that. And if I have the time and the energy to pursue it deeper, then I do that. But there's really no right or wrong. You know what you can handle. You know what you're ready for. I surely know when it's a good idea for me to go further and when it's a good idea for me to just stop right where I am and give myself time. I can always go back to it at another time. All right, so I will end with that. I hope that has helped you in some way. And if it has, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I upload further videos. Thank you. Bye for now.